Hey, I'm Zach. Meet the Turbo Como 5.0 low-entry electric bike by Specialized. This elegantly designed e-bike has the most seamlessly integrated power system. I'll tell you all about it next on Now You Know. If you're already an avid bicyclist, then you know the Specialized brand. In fact, when we told some of our bicyclist friends that we were reviewing an e-bike from Specialized, they all dropped what they were doing and began drooling. Now, this was before we got the bike, and I was like, what's the big deal? It looks like it's going to be just another e-bike. Even after we got it and we were looking it over, I still didn't get it. Sure, it looks different from other e-bikes, its battery is integrated into the frame, but what's the big deal? And then I rode it. Okay, I've got to say to all my bike enthusiast friends now, I get it. Specialized has been making bicycles since 1974. They live and breathe bicycles. I mean, their motto is made for riders by riders. But they didn't get into e-bikes until fairly recently. And that's because they wanted to do it right. They didn't want their e-bikes to look or feel like typical e-bikes. So unfortunately, one of the strongest features of their electric bikes, I can't really easily show you on a video. That's because what makes this bike super special, in my opinion, is the silky smooth power it delivers from its RX Street Tune motor system. See, most e-bikes today have hub motors. That means the motor is back here in the wheel. And that means that when you pedal, a pedal sensor has to try to figure out what you're doing and tell the motor to start turning. What you end up with is something I've frankly gotten very used to on most other e-bikes, which is you start pedaling, and then about half a turn in, the motor kicks in. But Specialized uses a mid-motor system with torque sensing that's tuned on the Como for city riding. So when you start to pedal, the motor immediately senses what your foot is doing and gives you just what your foot asked for. It's hard to describe, but it feels like it's just more you. In fact, Specialized calls it, it's you, only faster, and that's exactly right. I'll give you a real-world example. The whole gang here at Now You Know took a half dozen e-bikes out for a ride the other day. Our editor, Brent, who is editing this video, was riding another e-bike we won't name, and I saw that he wasn't using the pedal assist, opting to do the pedaling all by himself. Halfway through the ride, when I asked him why, he said he didn't like the jerking feel that the pedal assist gave. So I had him swap out and try the Specialized Como. After just a minute of riding, he had a big grin on his face, and he said that the Como felt seamless, a completely different riding experience. So that's a big difference. And that's because Specialized bikes monitor your rear wheel speed, your pedal cadence, and your pedal torque all simultaneously to give you a super smooth power delivery. If you're considering transitioning to an e-bike and you're concerned about maintaining that feel of a traditional bike that you're used to, you're gonna wanna check out the Specialized line of e-bikes. And just one more thing about the ride. If you've been on an e-bike before, riding fast, and you felt like the motor is not keeping up with your pedal speed, well, on the Como, the motor can pedal assist up to 120 RPM, which means it will keep up with you. As you pedal faster, it just feels natural. I could go on all day about how I love this powertrain, but let's jump into the specs for the Como. The 604 watt-hour lithium-ion battery on the Como is right here. It weighs about 6 pounds, and it's centered on the frame, and it charges from 0 to 100 in about 4.5 hours. You can buy a replacement pack for about $900. Now, I think it makes some people feel better knowing that if they ride this bike into the ground and they wear out the battery, which would take a few years and tens of thousands of miles, but if you did, you can get a replacement battery pack. You can remove the battery to make it easier to charge, and it locks into the bike, so when you're out, you don't have to worry about it being stolen. I do want to point out that you have to make sure that the battery is clicked in securely or else it can fall out. So make sure that you hear the click and it's seated properly. Specialized claims a range of 84 miles, but keep in mind that that is under ideal conditions, flat terrain, good weather, and with you doing most of the pedaling. Still, that's an awesome range, and they can achieve that because the power transfer is so efficient through this 7.5 pound, 90 Newton meter Bros belt-driven motor. And did I mention that the motor is silent? There's no whining. In fact, there's really nothing to give away that you're even riding an e-bike at all with this motor. It's like getting 4 times more you. So you power up the bike by turning on the battery right here with this big button. You control the 3 power assist levels with these really well placed plus and minus buttons here on the left of the handlebars. The button to turn on the lights is right under here, and your bell are all located here, which is super convenient. This small backlit LCD compact display can be moved around on the handlebar if you want to make room for a phone mount, let's say. Just keep in mind you'll have to get a rubber grommet because the handlebar width varies. The display shows your speed at the top with assist level right next to it, battery level and percentage, which is super nice because that's how my brain works. I like to see a number. On the lower left, the odometer, the trips, the clock, which is very thoughtful to have a clock, and it hooks up through the app, which we'll talk about in a second, to monitor your heart rate. Now, there's no USB charging port here, which would have been nice. You can flip through the pages with these buttons under the display here. And I like that these don't even look like buttons. When you park this bike in an urban environment, this display is not going to draw attention to itself. Some of those big displays that you see on other e-bikes almost seem to invite being vandalized. On the display, page 2 gives you your average speed and a timer. Page 3, the output power in watts. Page 4, the kilocalories. And page 5, the odometer. And if you hold both buttons simultaneously, you can adjust some of the settings. See, a bike made for riders by riders. If you hold the plus button for a couple seconds, you get walk mode to assist you with walking the bike. Now, unlike most e-bikes, where all you can do is set the level of pedal assist, with Specialized e-bikes, you have this, the Mission Control app. The Mission Control app on your phone connects via Bluetooth to the motor so that you can tune the bike. So check this out. You can adjust the support level, the peak power, and the acceleration response, and store these as presets. That way you can easily change how the bike feels depending on how you feel and the riding you'll be doing. Want to get more of a workout on your ride home? Set it up for Super Eco Ride. Need more power because you'll be doing some serious hill climbs? Punch in more support. And what's super nice about this app is that it integrates map, stats, and heart rate functions, so you'll never have to worry about running out of juice on a long ride. It will monitor the rest of your trip for things like elevation and adjust the motor and battery output automatically so that you will get to your destination without having to stare at the battery indicator the whole way. Specialized has a lot of models to choose from and 5 different frame sizes. This, as we've mentioned, is the Como 5.0 on low entry. My personal favorite design for easy on and off, but you can get it with the high step design as well. I will note that with this low entry frame, there isn't much that you can attach right here to the battery. There's not going to be like a water bottle attachment, for instance. But you can attach one here, and you can easily still get on and off the bike. The all aluminum frame keeps the bike sort of lightweight for an e-bike at just 50 pounds. Still, be careful when you're loading it onto a bike rack, it's kind of heavy. And speaking of bike racks, if you get the low entry model and you have a standard bike rack on your vehicle, you're going to want to get one of these adapters. This will allow you to carry the bike on your rack. So what you do is you clip this around your seat post here, and then around the front of your frame here, and then this, voila, acts as a horizontal bar for your bike rack to hold your bike with. And getting back to the frame, take a look at these smooth welds. You don't even notice them because they're so seamlessly integrated. Just a beautifully understated frame. The color of this bike is navy, but different variations of the Como come in lilac, nearly black, storm gray, charcoal, platinum, and Cali. The Como series ranges in price from the smaller motor Como 2.0 at about $2,500 to this top-of-the-line Como 5.0 at $4,150. This extra-wide saddle called the Cup is really comfy with these rubber bumpers and has this really cool integrated light that looks slick. The handlebar setup is simple with a swept back bar and uncluttered with brown locking ergo grips and the nice small tucked away display we mentioned earlier. The plastic fenders are nice and sturdy, and I want to point out that fenders are often overlooked for the important job that they do. They keep road water and grime off of you. Super important. These fenders are connected to the frame so elegantly. Look here, they're attached on the inside of the fork. Such a nice touch. These nylon platform pedals have a sandpaper grip, and one nice thing to point out is that they aren't sharp. If you're like me, then every now and again you slip up a bit while pedaling and that pedal hits you in the shin. With a sharp pedal, that's an ow moment. But these are nice and smooth and they're not going to cut into you. Just another nice touch. There's a plastic guard here on the crank gear to protect you from getting caught up. And take a look at this aluminum alloy chain ring. It has an alternating narrow, wide tooth pattern that keeps the chain from bouncing around. Again, another nice touch. The Como has a Shimano XT SLX 11-speed, which should handle any type of incline. A Shimano Diore derailleur with the Shadow Plus clutch for riding at high speeds with less chain bounce. The 4-piston Shimano hydraulic brakes with 180mm front rotors and 160mm rear rotors are excellent. Easy to engage and precise braking with all the cables internally routed throughout the frame. These 27.5-inch tires are 2.2-inch Nimbus Sports with black belt puncture protection. A higher volume tire which gives you some extra comfort on bouncy pavement and good grip. And the rims have this really nice reflective sticker. This stylish kickstand has an adjustable length, depending on how you like your bike to stand. Nice touch. Another nice feature that you may not notice on the first glance is this 15mm through axle on the front fork. Much beefier than the typical 9mm axle seen on many other e-bikes. And that makes the front fork look so regal. See, there's no nuts. Nice touch. Although keep in mind, there is no quick release. You'll need a 5mm hex key to take on and off the front wheel and to adjust the seat post. But that makes this bike much more theft resistant. The headlight on this model is mounted right up here, right below the handlebar, instead of down here because that's where they attach the front rack. It's really bright, compact, and I love that it's integrated with the design of the bike. It doesn't look like an afterthought like on so many other e-bikes. Really sturdy rack system here that allows you to carry either your own bag or basket or one of Specialized bags. I should mention here that Specialized has tons of cool accessories, bags, seat packs, pizza bags, and more to really customize your bike for your needs. What's nice about the fact that Specialized is an established company is that when you choose the model that you want online, you pick up your bike through one of Specialized's dealers, and the bike gets set up for you there, so there's no worrying about assembly. Also, if you want to check out how these bikes ride and perform before you buy, you just need to locate a local Specialized dealer and schedule a test ride. We've touched on a bunch of little nice touches that Specialized has done with the Como. Here are a couple more. The charging port is up high, easy to reach and not down low where it can get wet or dirty. And it's got a magnetic attachment so that if you trip over the wall charger, it will just snap out. Nothing to get damaged. Again, nice touch. And a not so little thing, customer service. Specialized has been around for over 40 years, and they've built a reputation for high quality bikes. So when you do need help with parts or service, their reputation is stellar, and we've experienced that firsthand. This Como has a very stable, smooth, and quiet ride. The 2.2-inch tires give a really comfortable yet quiet ride that works perfectly on paved roads and streets. If you're an avid bicyclist looking to get into e-bikes, you really can't go wrong with Specialized's lineup of electric bikes. And if you want a comfortable, upright, relaxed e-cruiser, then the Como could be for you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you got all of your questions answered in this review of the Specialized Como 5.0. If you did, please consider hitting the subscribe and like buttons. Those really help out the channel. Thanks again for joining us. Now you know.